Take the meanest and most restless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female and the nigger infant, tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse face in opposite directions, set him afire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining nigger. You can't, what kind of monster comes up with this? Honestly, and the thing is, yeah, boy, I don't know what kind of monster comes up with this. I don't know. But you know what? We as black people, we need to strive higher. We need to stop pigeonholing ourselves and being like, okay, those jobs over there, they're for white people. Let me just stay in here. Look, let me read you something out of this stupid book. Listen to this. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to live there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean. Or the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language whereby he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen. You got a problem. He will soon be in your house. So basically what that means is what that means basically is, okay, so sort of train black people to train black people to stay in their lane, you know, stay with the small mundane jobs, stay with, you know, the little lives, while the white people is living large. Train them to appreciate the small things, you know, train them to appreciate living in a small house, train them to appreciate having a job that's minimum wage, train them to appreciate the fact that they're living in an area that's just full of violence, train them to appreciate just suffering and just let them see it as, well, this is what life is. There's so many people who, you know, they'd say something like, oh, I want to be A, B or C, and then someone else will say, oh, that job's for white people, forget that, why don't you go do this. No, you know, because that's what white people want, that's what these sorts of white people wants us to think. They don't want us to go and be police officers or lawyers or doctors or midwives. They don't want us to do that. They want us to stay with the little minimum wage jobs. They want us to stay doing, you know, like, no disrespect, guys. If you love your job, don't take this to heart or anything. But they want us to stay in B&M. They want us to stay sweeping the roads. They want us to stay, you know, cleaning toilets, and that's our life, basically. Well, no, you know, we need to strive higher. So anyway, this is the beginning of the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry about this, I was putting away clothes and all that earlier, and then the mood took me to, I just felt like doing a video. I actually wanted to apologise to you guys for being a little MIA for the last, like, how long, like week, I'd say, like almost 2 weeks, I don't know. Yeah, so basically I was sort of faced with a choice sort of thing, and, you know, it really sort of, I don't know, it affected me kind of badly. I was just a bit depressed. I don't really want to go into it, but, sorry. Nice cup of tea. I don't want it to get cold, so I'm drinking and talking. Anyway, yeah, I didn't actually want it to I didn't want to do a video while I was feeling so low, but I feel a little better now. And so yeah, I mean, I guess I'll talk to you about it like one day, but for now I don't really want to talk about it. So that leaves really something that I do want to talk about. So okay, story time, slight story time. Anyway, so last week I went to a job fair, and I went to a job fair last week, and honestly it was in Tottenham Hotspurs, and gosh guys, like the queue around the queue was going all around Tottenham Hotspurs. Like I was in that queue for a good 2 hours, like honestly, but it was really good in there. It was, I found out a lot, and I've got a few things. I've got a few more ideas as well. So that's a bit of dust. Anyway, I've got a few ideas as well of what I want to do. I feel like my channel's becoming a little mundane, a little bit boring, and that's another reason why I wanted a break. I just wanted to come back with something a little fresh, a little new, and so yeah, I thought, let me do a video. I wasn't actually gonna do a video today, but I don't know, the mood just sort of took me. Anyway, I read this book while I was on the train to North London. So, like, honestly, so this is a very easy read. You can't get easier than this. Like, this is 45 pages long. Like, 45 pages long. Like, and there's even some pages where there's literally nothing. Like, page 28. Nothing, you know, but this book will make you angry, guys. This book made me angry. Okay, so if you can't see it, it's called The Making of a Slave, Willie Lynch. Okay, so it's about the Willie Lynch Letter. And honestly, like this book, boy, I know there's some people that feels like it's fake. There's people who think it's real. There's people who think it's fake. But the evidence is here. Like the way that, I don't know, the way that they talk about, the way that he explained like the psyche of how you can break someone. You know, how you can just like totally just take away their humanity and totally just take away, you know, like just rip them apart, and it was heartbreaking. Honestly, like, I don't know, if this Willie Lynch person was alive today, I'm sure, even though it's 2022, I'm sure that they'll bring stoning back just for him, because honestly, like, I don't want to spoil it too much because I know there's some people. I was talking to my friend about it, and she's never heard of it before, but she did want to watch. She did want to buy the book. I know she watches my videos, so I don't want to go too into it because I don't want to spoil it for her. But gosh, like I was on obviously the Victoria line, you know, from Brixton to Seven Sisters, and literally there and back. Before I even got back, I had already finished this, and but it is, wow, like it is deep. It is deep. You have to, even though I knew it's gonna be heartbreaking, I knew I'm gonna feel slightly angry or whatever, but I had no idea how much. Like it's, oh boy, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. There's even one thing. I don't want to spoil too much, but where is it? Oh, I should have marked it. But yeah, there's one part that I wanted to read to you guys because I was just thinking, really, where is it? Like, I was just thinking, damn, like here, keep the body and take the mind. That is, boy. Yeah, it is. It is like it is really, really heartbreaking. This book, like this book, you see how it sort of. He even says there's something that he uses the words there's something that will spin on its own axis, and it's true. You know, like the way that they decided to, the way that they decided to, like I don't know, like the way that they decided to create like mixed race children, not for the benefit of anyone, but just to cause division in the black community. So that light is set against dark, and dark is set against light. Old is set against young, and young is set against old, and male is set against female. Like to cause hatred in our own community, and jealousy and envy. And I don't know. By the way, I know my hair looks crazy at the moment. So I just needed to take this off. Yeah, my hair looks crazy at the moment because boy, I need to wash it. But honestly, but yeah, this book, it's a very easy read. It is an easy read. It's like the letters are big as well. So even if you like to read with glasses and you happen to forget your glasses, you can still see this. Because yeah, it's an easy read. But honestly, it's horrible. But yeah, the way that they decided to, I don't know. It's like it wasn't enough just to know. Okay, they have slaves. That wasn't enough for them. It wasn't enough for them. They had to make black people hate being the color that they are. They had to, like, the pure evilness of it. Like, the pure evilness of it. Because, obviously, Willie Lynch, he's a British, well, he was a British slave owner. And he came to the Caribbean because I don't know if you remember learning about the rebellion in the Caribbean slave trade, or not slave trade, but like the slave rebellion in the Caribbean. Like I've read books on it. I've watched like all the BBC One dramas on it. Like honestly, as you lot know, my mum likes history, and so therefore I watch a lot of things that my mum watches, and it's really interesting. But that's another reason why I couldn't find the thing that I was looking for, but you lot will see it. you lot would literally see it. Like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I'm just sort of I was gobsmacked. Right, I was gobsmacked because as much as I know about slavery and I know about racism, and it's just the words that he uses, the way that he wants to, it's not just a case of okay, you lot are black, so you lot are gonna, like pick the crops, and you lot are gonna pick cotton, and you're gonna work from dusk till dawn, and get whipped if you disobey, and blah blah blah. No, it's like the sadistic mentality of this monster. I can't even call him a man. I can just call him a monster. Like honestly. But yeah, that's my review. I actually am going to do a deep clean of my room as well. I also want to do a clear out because now March is here. So sorry, I just realised I stopped that very abruptly. But yeah, that was my review of Making a First Slave, Willie Lynch Letter. And yeah, and by the way, while we're on the topic of race, okay, so if you, unless you live under a rock, you know about You know about, the whole war, basically World War III, Russia and Ukraine, yeah? And everyone's saying, poor Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. But why is nobody talking about how the black people and the Indian people in Ukraine, they're not being, they're not being let through to leave Ukraine, and those that are, they're not being let through through the borders of Poland. Like, there's so many things online, guys. Go research it. I didn't know this before, but there's a whole load of Nigerian students and Indian students in Ukraine studying, and because obviously this war is taking place, they've all fled along with the Ukrainians. And but the thing is, like, Ukrainians is just letting their own out, like, out of Ukraine, and forcing the black people to stay behind until all their people was out, which, boy. And then when they finally were out, black people, well, those that made it out, they have to obviously, Ukraine is a no-flight zone, because of the bombs and aircrafts. They're like, we're not having anyone flying in or out. So that's another reason why everyone's trying to go to either Germany or Poland, so that they can fly off to wherever they're going. And the Nigerian students, they want to go home. They want to go back to Nigeria. They want to go. The Indian students want to go back to India, or wherever, actually, wherever just they feel safe, they want to fly to, which is perfectly fine. But in order to do that, they have to get past. They have to get past the British. Yeah, they have to get past the not the British, the Poland border. But the Polish people are saying, no, we're only letting Ukrainians in. You guys aren't allowed through, and so they're just exposed, just waiting at the borders, waiting at the gates to be allowed in. There's people, there's women, there's children, there's men, there's young, there's old, and it's just so heartbreaking. And the fact that nobody is talking about this, nobody's talking about this. On the news, you just see the Ukrainians. You don't see black people, because I didn't even know that Ukraine was where a lot of Nigerian students and Indian students go to study. I didn't know that, but apparently so. And so, yeah, I mean, like, it's heartbreaking. So number one, please pray for them. Number two, spread the message, because clearly the news ain't gonna cover it. So spread the words that, there's black people, Indian people, and I'm sure even people of other heritages, um, stranded in Ukraine or at the Poland border, because they're not being allowed through. And that is just so. How cold could you be? Like, how cold could you be? Like, there's bombs going off. They're scared. They're exposed. They've got no shelter, no food, no nothing. And they just have to stay there until the Polish people let them through. I think that's bang out of order in my eyes. I don't care about visas. I don't care about passports. I don't care about papers. I don't care about money. And you're letting Ukrainians through. You're not looking at their papers. You're not looking at their passports. You're not looking, like, they're going solely on skin color. Oh, you look Ukrainian, you could come through. Oh, well, you're Nigerian, so you can't come through. So it's not a matter of, oh, it's because they don't have their papers. It's got nothing to do with that. It's because they're black. That's the reason. And why are we so hated? Like, I know I've said black, and obviously there's Indian as well, but honestly, like, especially, I don't know, it's like, but even with some people as well saying, you know, they're letting the Indians through before the Nigerians. So Ukrainians and whites, Ukrainians and whites, obviously, and then next is the Indians, and last is the Nigerians. You know, people can say there's the world, and we need to get used to it, but why should we? Why should we get used to being treated like scum? So anyway, that was my little rant, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna do a more in-depth video about that. I'm gonna do a more in-depth video about the war and how black people are being ignored. So yeah, I'm gonna do a whole different video on that, guys. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the nice things. Share. Um, and turn on your notifications, and I will see you probably tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a clear out, and I thought it'll be really fun for you guys to join me. At the moment I need to listen to the full Hardtop story about the mill. We're learning that in English, and obviously it's March now, so we're coming up to exams, so I need to sort that out. And yeah, so thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.